So, what do four relics from the 60s who took a lot of LSD have to do with anything that's happening today? That Timothy Leary, Houston Smith, Ram Dass, and Andrew Weil. So here's just a short list. Yoga studios and Steve Jobs in Silicon Valley. Steve Jobs is actually very influenced by psychedelics. And his organic produce in your local supermarket. Deepak Chopra, aka Ram Dass, the environmental movement. Eckhart Tolle, aka Ram Dass. Yeah. Doctors who prescribe meditation for those who have heart attacks. The Unabomber, that's a long story, I'll tell you later, but there is an interesting connection. The Sexual Revolution, Wayne Dyer, aka Ram Dass. Raves fueled by ecstasy, Burning Man, Esalen, you name it. I mean, the way we think about life, death, and the very nature of reality have been influenced by these four guys.
People keep thinking that Molly is different from ecstasy, but really Molly is a rebranded form of ecstasy. It's supposed to be pure MDMA, but since it's unregulated in the United States and it's banned, you're never really going to get pure MDMA. You don't know what it's covering.
So it's supposed to be, but you don't know what's in it, obviously. Yeah. Okay. And so the Germans handed this stuff over.
And they handed it over as, because obviously they had to. They lost.
Werner von Braun, a man whose allegiance is ruled by expedience. Call him a Nazi, he won't even frown. Nazi schmatzi, says Werner von Braun.
Good morning, my name is Carol Rosen. In 1974, after being a sixth grade school teacher, I was introduced to the late Dr. Werner von Braun, in the U.S., the father of rocketry.
Von Braun was prodigiously successful with my ESP game. He took me up to meet the administrator of NASA, and that was the first money that we got to start a program at SRI. Because Werner von Braun, you see, get these space people all confused. Werner von Braun was so psychic and had a psychic grandmother. They decided to support us.
Why did the CIA stop after 25 years? I could imagine they'd want to keep it going.
It was basically canceled for internal political issues. They didn't like having to argue with Congress. They didn't like being teased. The courageous, imaginative people who had started the program all retired. So in order to deal, our opposition to carrying this program did not come from the scientists and the government. It came from the fundamental religious people who argued that if this does not come from Jesus, it comes from Satan. Now, I know, now that sounds so crazy, you have to understand that I wouldn't make something like that up. but that was our problem.
The great CIA is not only involved in kidnapping children, they're the biggest drug dealer in the world.
From Terrence McKenna.
Terrence McKenna talking about DMT last night, and we talked how we had very similar experiences when we were on it.
Mushy, sweet, and poppy seeds, THC and DMT.
The medium is the message, but it's not the medium is the message. The medium of optical, neurological brain communication, the medium is the reality. And when, in 10 years, the poorest child will have the ability to go and communicate with you through your eyes, and together we start making realities like that, pulled up from databanks, graphic databanks, sending brains to our eyeballs electronically around the world will link up this community.
explaining what happens when everyone gets connected together is basically all of us are now walking around connected to 3.5 billion other people. And so again, now you see this strategy that allows us to connect and to cooperate. But the price you pay for that cooperation is that we're all now sort of working off the same headspace, for lack of a better term. We're all working off the same knowledge space. Now, one of the joys of the internet is that you can find anyone to believe whatever you want, because there are going to be a group of people who already have a bulletin board set up to discuss that thing, whatever it might be. So it's easy to find the others, but it's now also incredibly easy to be able to find the truth, because you can go connect to the experts who understand what that truth is. That means that we're now functioning inside of a global mind. You don't have to couch it. You don't have to say it's this or that, it's the other thing. It's a global mind. It's not what we expected. We expected we're all going to sort of be sucked into some unity. Well, actually, it turns out that's not what happened. It turns out we all started carrying one of these around. And we all do. Australians carry more smartphones around than any other people on the planet. Why? Because when you have this thing, you get everything else. And so that was the deal. It's like, oh yeah, carry this around and you can be part of the global mind.
Proliferation of these SIM cards and these little devices is the extrusion of the human nervous system into this global net. And right now it runs on phones and SIM cards. There may come a point where, you know, we go to some nanotechnological implementation of this. I mean, what about the iPhone 15? Right? What is that one going to look like? I suspect you won't even be able to see it because it'll be
you'll swallow it.
You'll swallow it, exactly.
Right.
It'll be a capsule that you swallow or something you put under your skin. Yeah. And then you're just, you know, you're just connected all the time. And there. And maybe that's what psychedelics are. They're partly learning tools for customizing ourselves to this new information-saturated environment that we inhabit. I mean, this is what McLuhan said, that they were tools, they were iterations or prefigurations of electric culture, as he talked about it, which basically means the global internet, the global interconnected village. And it does seem to be that that's what's happening.
So much was going on around me. I watched in spellbound fascination as legions of small elf-like beings were diving in and out of this strange biological mechanism of some sort.
The whole idea of machine elves is one that I struggle with. I mean, Terence McKenna is like a kind of semi-deity in this community, and he constructed this concept of machine elves, and I think that almost becomes like a stopping point, because then people are like, his language is so seductive. And he himself is such a spellcaster and a wizard.
pusher man. Silent life of crime. A man of odd circumstance. A victim of ghetto demands. Feed me money for stop. And I'll let you trip for a while. Insecure from the past. How long can a good thing last? Got to be mellow, y'all. Gotta get mellow now. Push a man, get mellow, y'all. Heavy mind, heavy sight, making money all the time. My LD and just me for all junkies to see. Ghetto Prince is my thing, making love's how I swing. I'm your pusher man. I'm your pusher man. 2 bags, please, for a generous fee. Make your world what you want it to be. Got a woman I love desperately. Wanna give her something better than me. Been told I can't be nothing else. Just a hustler in spite of myself. I know I can make it. This life just don't make it. Lord, Lord, yeah. Got to get mellow now. Gotta be mellow, y'all. Got to get mellow now. I'm your mama, I'm your daddy, I'm that nigga in the alley. I'm your doctor.
Sasha's legacy is incredibly important. It's so brilliant of Thatcher not only to live his life perfectly, but also have a perfect death, surrounded by the people he loved, holding every moment. Yeah, well, I think he's a wonderful example to us all. Link and change human consciousness. He was very much an intellectual giant who didn't show his wares at all. He was all disguised behind the joker. Courteous, considerate and humble. He was a wonderful man.